for more clarinet tips? What's up?
Back for more clarinet tips, that's right. I asked ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, and the most advanced clarinet AI on the market, which you will see at the end, a very specific question about playing the clarinet, and let's see who will answer best. All right, so let's imagine we are a little stuck with practicing the second movement of Mozart's Clarinet Concerto, and we would like help and advice with phrasing, okay? So it goes something like this. Right, so let's see how ChatGPT will do with this very specific question. Hey ChatGPT, I'm practicing right now the first 8 bars of the second movement of Mozart's Clarinet Concerto. Could you be very specific and tell me how I should phrase these bars there?
In the second movement's opening phrase, your core objective is to maintain a cantabile singing line. You begin with a gentle legato. Each note should be smoothly connected, with no harsh articulation. Shape the line dynamically. Start with a controlled mezzo piano, subtly crescendo into the peak of the phrase around the 5th measure, and then to crescendo gracefully toward the cadence. Use a slight rubato, allowing a natural expansion at the apex before relaxing into the resolution. Keep the airflow consistent, ensuring every interval flows naturally and the tone remains warm throughout.
Yeah, so I think it was acting here. I think it didn't really have the information, but it still wanted to give an answer to sound clever. So it did sound clever. And obviously, yeah, you should be gentle. You shouldn't do harsh articulations. And because it's an adagio, you should have long lines and everything. So it stayed really general. But like the one phrasing tip that it gave us, the peak of the phrase at the 5th measure is not quite right, because yeah. So you really go until the very last bar. So this is, I would say, where the peak is. So you have like 4-bar phrase, and then another 4-bar phrase. And you could say the peak of the 8 bars is the last bar of the 8 bars. So yeah, there it was a little bit wrong, and also not very specific phrasing advice. Like, I didn't get better at phrasing after asking a phrasing question. Right, next up, Gemini. Hi Gemini. I'm practicing the first 8 bars of Mozart's Clarinet Concerto second movement right now, and I'd need very specific advice from you on how to phrase these 8 bars.
That's a lovely choice. Truly one of Mozart's most sublime melodies. For specific phrasing, think of those first 8 bars as 2 4-bar phrases, where the first one raises a question and the second answers it. You want to grow dynamically through the first phrase, peaking around the 3rd or 4th bar, and then gently fade back on the second. Keep your airflow super smooth and connected for that classic Mozartian legato, and make sure every note is leading somewhere. Is there a particular measure or note you're finding tricky?
All right, better than ChatGPT for sure. So I liked the question and answer approach. Is that the first 4 bars is a question? I don't know. you could say it. So you could question da ba da da. Oh, another question da 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 da. And now the answer. Di da 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 bo di da da boom pa-dam pa-pam. Yeah, you could say that. Yeah, I mean, not a bad answer. I don't quite remember like each single thing it said, but I think it's already better than ChatGPT. So the rating for Gemini here, better, not ideal. I also don't think everything was right here. And personally, I also wouldn't go the question answer approach in this specific phrase. So you should think of it as one line and not try to question and answer and four, but and it's also not 4 and 4, it's 2 plus 2 plus 4. Yeah, you could say ta-dam, pa-pa-da-da. First one, yeah? And ta-dam, pa-da-da. The second one. I think it's more like one person speaking rather than question and answer, but I think that's interpretation room here. Right, number 3, one of my personal favorites, Mika from Grok. So let's see what's gonna happen. So Mika,
Hey Fabian, back for more clarinet tips? What's up?
Back for more clarinet tips, that's right. Listen very closely now. I'm practicing the first 8 bars of Mozart's Clarinet Concerto, the second movement, the slow movement. And I'd need very specific help from you on how to phrase these 8 bars.
Hey Fabian. All right, let's get into those first 8 bars of the Adagio. This is pure Mozart magic. The melody is one long singing line, so treat it like you're humming a lullaby. Think in 4-bar phrases. The first 4 bars rise gently, then the next 4 answer with a bit more shape. Start super soft and pure on that opening A, almost like a sigh. Let it grow just a tiny bit through the first measure and keep that little swell going right past the repeated A in bar 2. That keeps the line flowing instead of restarting. Breathe after bar 4, right before the high-ish phrase starts. That's your natural spot. Take a calm, deep breath so you don't gasp. On the long notes, don't just hold them flat. Give them a tiny direction, like a soft pulse or a gentle crescendo-decrescendo, so they feel alive. Sing the line out loud first, then match that on your clarinet. That's the secret to Mozart phrasing. It should feel vocal, never mechanical. Want me to break it down bar by bar or run through a specific spot that's tripping you up?
Actually, quite a good answer. I'm surprised since with another clarinet technique question, which was the tongue position, it didn't do really well. But yeah, here it researched for a long time, so it waited like maybe 20-30 seconds to answer. Which is also weird for a conversational AI, but good. So it researched and said not bad thing. So it said the opening note, the A, so it means the sounding A. We play a C on the clarinet. And it said we should phrase towards the second part of the second bar, so until the second part of the bar. So it was right with this. This is how to do it. Another thing I liked that it said was to basically play the first 4 bars in an uprising motion. And then the last 4 bars in a more, I don't quite remember the words it's used, but in a more lineful way. In a more connected way, closing the phrase. So yeah, that was nice. What I also liked here was the fact that it said we shouldn't think on long notes. We shouldn't think that it stops. So not stagnant, because a long note always either comes from somewhere or it goes somewhere. It never stands still, even a long note. So so we have those underlying eighth notes within a long note, and we have to grow within this underlying eighth note. So the G, for example, here in the middle of the phrase grows towards the C. And how does it grow towards the C? It grows within the underlying eighth note. At least that's what I like to think about. But yeah, all in all, not a bad answer. I think you could get 2-3% better in phrasing in this part with this answer. The only problem with Grok is that if it will do another research next week for 20 seconds before it answers you, it will get the information from somewhere else and it will give you a different answer. So I'm not quite sure how valuable this is if every time you will get a different answer. One answer might be from a Reddit forum from the year 2010, yeah, where some uncle wrote something about the second movement of Mozart's concerto, and it will just pull the information from there, from the internet, because that's all what these general AIs are trained on. They are trained on the entire internet, okay? And the entire internet doesn't have a system for Clarinet. Many systems work, but a mix of systems doesn't work usually. And what general AIs do, they get one piece of advice here, one piece of advice here, one piece of advice here, and then everything doesn't really click. Like the single piece of advice might be somewhat correct, but the stuff doesn't really click. This is where the last tool now, Fabian AI, the most, and Fabian is me, by the way. So Fabian AI, I named it after me. Why? Because it's trained on my system. It has all of the knowledge that I have as well. It's as if you would talk to me. And I will speak to me about phrasing of the second movement of Clarinet Concerto. Of Mozart. So let's see how this goes. This is by far the most advanced option that you have on the market for clarinet questions to an AI, because it will answer you with a system that provenly clicks together. Why provenly? Because it has worked on so many members already. So let's see how Fabian AI will do in our 5-minute coaching call. That you will get access to, by the way, if you join this promotion week Clarinet Masterclass, the membership. The coupon code is Fabian AI. Just 20 spots will be able to get 1 year free of Fabian AI. This entire bonus is worth $600. If you would like to have it, yeah, go sign up right below and check if there's still spots available. So let's go. Let's see. Hey, nice to see you. Tell me about your practice today. Yeah, Fabian. So I'm practicing Mozart's Clarinet Concerto, the second movement, the first 8 bars. And what I'd need from you is very specific help with the phrasing in the first 8 bars. First of all, I need to know what phrasing is and how to specifically phrase these first 8 bars. Good, so you've been on this passage for a bit. I can see it in your logs. Let me ask you first, when you play those 8 bars right now, what does it feel like? Does it feel like one long line, or does it break up into pieces? Yeah, so I think of it as one long line, but I like to also think micro phrases, which are the first 2 bars together, then the next 2 bars together, and then the next 4 bars together. But all in all, I'd like 8 bars together as one long line, obviously. perfect. You're already thinking about it the right way. Here's the thing though, before you can phrase anything beautifully, you have to understand how the music is actually built. Everything in Mozart reduces down to one thing. The eighth notes, a quarter note is 2 eighth notes, a dotted quarter note is 3, even the rest. Everything is eighth notes underneath. That's your measuring stick. So right now, close your eyes for a second. Feel those 8 bars as a continuous chain of 8 notes that never stops, even through the longer notes. That pulse underneath is what controls your phrasing. Without it, phrasing becomes random. Does that land? Yeah, so personally, I liked this approach the most. Why? Because it actually came from me. So this is my opinion about how to phrase in general, and also how to phrase this Mozart's Clarinet Concerto second movement, first 8 bars, is by finding, by feeling it yourself. And that's exactly the tip it gave us here. So we want to feel the 8th note. The 8th note is our underlying entity that always continues and never stops. So that's what it said. And within these underlying 8 notes, we will find out the phrasing and the high points. It said we have to find the high points of each phrase ourselves, but this is what you will, what we'll now basically learn ourselves, is to think for ourselves, because we now have the tools. We know we need to reach a high point, and we know we need to reach it within the underlying 8th note. And then you will actually start to develop a feeling on your own on how to do it. So here it's very clear, it becomes very clear within the underlying 8th note that we will go towards the second bar and we will phrase off in the second bar. So then and then so it gives us this very, it gives us a tool set that we can then use to actually figure it out ourselves. I mean, this is just the answer it gave us now. A different conversation, it might help us with a different thing. But essentially what Fabian AI does, it can only get knowledge from my knowledge base that I've programmed into it, which are like 450,000 words of clarinet technique concepts, and very specific ones as well, which are already in the AI system. So if you would like to get access to this, if you would like to get access to my brain while you practice every single day, and to feedback, personalized feedback to what you are doing every single day, this is by far the fastest way to improve. I mean, if you say, I already have a teacher and he's teaching me everything and I play so good, then you obviously don't need it. But if you have technical problems that haven't been solved, even though you've been playing the clarinet for a really, really long time, it just might be that the missing puzzle is actually the right information. And with this tool, with this new tool, Fabian AI, you will get this information in a really, really fast manner. So you will make progress really fast. Okay, if you would like this for yourself, it's limited to 20 spots only. Go sign up in the link below. The coupon code is Fabian AI. You will even get 30% off on top for the first 3 months. Or this is the coolest deal ever, 30% off for the entire first year. Okay, so go sign up right now and I will see you inside. You will let me know how you like the tool.